Good. All right. Well noted. Next controversial figure
Yeah.
is the current NBA president, Yakubu Jonoko Mekiao.
Yeah.
Mekiao, I don't know, seems he likes being on the screen sometimes for the negative reasons. Um, in one of the matters which was viral on the media, he was accused of fraud by his treasurer. I think that was during NBA. What was the program?
No, it was the
Convention,
annual general conference.
annual general conference. Yes, and the treasurer came out open and said something very very fantastic. Yeah, it was similar to the former prime minister of Britain telling the Queen that Nigerians are fantastically corrupt.
Corrupt.
NBA treasurer coming in the open at NBA AGM and said
So many things.
verbatim
Yeah.
about
Yes.
Mekiao. Secondly, he also condemned All Eyes on the Missionary campaign, Mekiao, as if it was a crime to follow that campaign or movement. Thirdly, was the statement he made while the matter was still in court that Tinubu is Nigeria's president, whether people like it or not. As if what was going on in the court then was mere academic exercise. What does that tell us?
Some of the pronouncements he has made or speeches he has made might have been misunderstood. You know, the truth about it is that our NBA president is, to a very large extent, misunderstood in the way people see some of the pronouncements he made. Because maybe he tries to say them without devoid of the sentiments of an average Nigerian. You know,
Really?
yeah, on the issue of criticizing all eyes on the judiciary, we have to put it within the context. Don't forget that I have said I was a proponent of all eyes on judiciary. I went out media interviews defending that particular position. But it is entirely a different thing when maybe certain persons thinking that all eyes on judiciary means that judiciary must annul the 2023 presidential election. So that is what he was trying to say, that all eyes on the judiciary should not unnecessarily put pressure on the justices of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court that are looking into the matter. And that having been said, then on the other issue of that Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, whether people like it or not, that is the incidentally, that is the gospel truth. The day that was on March 1, 2023, the day that INEC president Professor Yakubu Mahmood announced Tinubu as the winner of that election, and on the basis subsequent upon his swearing in on May 29, 2023, Tinubu became the president of Nigeria.
Whether Nigerians like it or
Whether
not.
no, not whether Nigerians, whether some Nigerians like it or not, because there are some Nigerians that love it, there are some that don't. It is a different side of the divide, but he's the president for everybody. And they haven't been the president for everybody. The only way that you can remove him is going through the court. And at the end of the day, he passed through the stages of the court. He went to the Court of Appeal, he won. He went to the Supreme Court, he won. So for the next 4 years, from that 2023 till 2027, President Tinubu will be the president of this country. And there is nothing anybody can do about it.
Yeah.
And that is the position of the law, and that is the factual situation on ground. So whoever wants to challenge Tinubu, we go and start preparing.
No, the issue is not about Tinubu. The
Yes.
issue was how some people thought that pronouncement was too arrogant. Some
No,
people,
it is not arrogant. It may border on sensitivity of some persons and insensitivity of others, depending on the way you put it. But the truth about it is that
is it because of his choice or preference of Tinubu as the candidate?
no, there was
Do you
a
think it may have bordered on that?
no. We must cut him some slack. There was never a time he said that Tinubu was his candidate, at least to the best of my knowledge.
Well, there are one or two incidences, but I cannot refer. Let's
Yes,
let
yes,
it go.
yes.
Okay, now that finally, before we let you go,
Yeah.
now that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is here, it's less than 1 year already, and Nigeria will never remain the same. Petrol has jumped from 167 naira to currently some filling stations in Abuja here are selling 670. That is the highest I know.
I bought 680 this morning
Oh, good.
per liter.
A kilogram of meat sells for about 4,000 naira in some markets.
From 3,200 some months back.
See, bag of cement. The government just reached agreement with cement producers to peg it at 7,000 naira.
Yes.
I don't know whether they will be paying subsidy on that or how is a government able to pressure a manufacturer who has put everything into cognizance and decided the price he will sell his product. But anyway, in the long run, 7,000 naira officially. In some parts of the country, I get reports they sell as high as 15,000 naira. But that is a story for another day. Bag of rice, 75,000 naira. In some places, 70,000 naira, as the case may be. What do you think about the state of the nation? Which way forward?
The state of the nation is very scary. I must tell you the truth. When I was coming here, I just parked to answer a call. Somebody came by my driver's side, by my window side, and was begging me for money to feed. When you look at him, a common Nigerian, very hungry, very desperate, I was even scared. I had to sort him out, but at the same time, hurriedly leaving the vicinity. But this is what average Nigerians go through.
Nigerians are dropping, collapsing,
Yes.
while on the move, simply because of no
There
food
is
to eat.
problem. There is not that there is no food. The cost of the food
Well,
is too high. You know, there is over dependency on dollars. You know, the truth about it is that we are subscribing, we are paying for our inefficiency. So many things, bad government, we are paying for it. Lack of production, we are paying for it. I will give you an example before I address the issue of the state of the nation. There was a time I was staying in a particular part of the city. Then the person that used to repair my generator or service it used to come from Kubuato, where I'm presently staying, to come and service the generator. I now noticed that for a job of maybe 1,000 naira, because of the cost of transportation, this person will now charge about 5,000 or 6,000 naira. And at times, the gen may have an issue because, you know, we are called Generator Republic because we are using generator. The gen may have an issue in between days and nights, and we need to wait for him to come. Somewhere along the line, I had to call somebody. Please, can you help me look for a generator repairer and the person that can be servicing within they got. So when another issue cropped up, I called the person came. Do you know that the person used 500 naira to fix what ordinarily could have cost me between 5,000 to 7,000 naira? That is the story of Nigeria. You know, some of the things that we can produce here, some of the things we can have here, we can't. We depend on foreign nations. We depend on other nations. Then when you check the cost of those things coming to Nigeria, you will find out that at the end of the day, the overhead cost is so enormous. And now everything is dollarized. With the dollarization of every item, including school fees. We know some universities and secondary schools in Nigeria that are charging in dollars. So when these things are happening, the implication is that it is going to have a spiral effect. Over 90% of the things we use in Nigeria, including the phone, including everything, are imported. So when you are buying, like now, currently, dollar is about $1 to 1,800, 900. 1,800, 1,900. So something that is $5 there. A simple something, before you know, when it converted to Nigerian currency, it will get out of the reach. What is the minimum wage? How much can you even pay for you to be able to sustain an average Nigerian? It is a mission impossible that you can even pay 400,000. It's not possible. So at the end of the day, until we start the production of goods and services in Nigeria and reduce the rate of consumption, the problem will continue to be there. You move from there, then you go to insecurity. Insecurity and poverty are two Siamese twins. Insecurity fuels poverty. Because when people cannot go out to work, the implication is that those farmers cannot go out to farm. It's happening in the north. It's happening in the southeast. It's happening in the southwest. It's happening everywhere in Nigeria. Until insecurity is tackled, there cannot be any genuine development. Even if you try as much as possible, even tell foreign investors to come. When a white man comes and the next thing is he's kidnapped, will he come back if he's ever released? He will run away. So, once issue of insecurity is not addressed, it will entirely, completely affect every other thing. Then, cost of fuel. The president made a pronouncement increasing the price of fuel. At the point the president was increasing the price of fuel from 167 to 667 naira or 617 naira. 17 before people decided to increase it to whatever they are. There was nothing on the ground. It was during his inauguration. And you ask yourself, what was on the ground for you to warrant that? As at that particular time, Dangote was planning to start production. As at that particular time, Nigerian oil refineries have not started working. So what was the basis? What was the basis? And when you were removed fuel subsidy, and as at that particular time, there was already in place a budgetary allocation to cover the cost of fuel subsidy up to June 2023. And we are still there on May 29, 2023. Why wouldn't you wait and use that 1 month to study it and put in place things that will help to cushion effect before hurrying? So at the end of the day, it became a disaster. That was the beginning of the problem we are having currently.
With this spiraling effect.
In everything, because you need fuel for everything. Transportation, power generation, everything. You need fuel. So, with that particular one in place, the next thing you are going to ask yourself, you say you removed fuel subsidy. And we are told that every month, 1 trillion naira was being saved because fuel subsidy or more was being saved because fuel subsidy was saved. What have they used that particular 1.something trillion naira per month to do? Of what effect? Where is that money? And what has it been used for? So you'll know at the end of the day, you ask yourself that hunger is not waiting. The terrible thing about hunger is that it is something that happens daily, hourly. It doesn't wait monthly. It doesn't wait weekly. It happens daily. And it bites. And once it is biting and is daily, Hourly, the next thing people will become agitated.
And the hungry man becomes
And the hungry man becomes an angry man. There you can see demonstration going on at various parts of the country, and nothing is being done tangible to ameliorate it. There is need. There is need for something to be done. Nigeria cannot continue like this.
When you say there is need for something to be done, does that include what the labor unions, the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress is about to embark on? They say they're embarking on nationwide
2 days nationwide strike.
Hunger strike.
2 days hunger strike. The truth is that we've even lost faith in Nigerian Labour Congress.
Sad.
You know, that is the unfortunate thing. They will tell you they are going to go on strike, and the next thing you wake up in the morning, by midnight they have called off the strike. And woe betide you, assume it like there was somebody the thing happened to. He had a case here in Lagos. He was in Abuja. They were saying the strike, that they were going on strike. Only for the person to take there will be strike. And they decided to stay back.
Sat back.
I sat back. And after sitting back in the middle of the night, he heard that the strike has been called off. How will he get to Lagos in the morning of the following day? And they do his matter and come back. So, you know, they deliberately create uncertainty. And another thing that must equally be taken into consideration and be treated adequately is electoral reform. You know, the manner with which our leaders come in must be addressed. A situation whereby after election, majority of the persons will be crying, the person that is our leader was not the person we voted for. It should be addressed. A system that gives integrity to the electoral process must be put in place. In the absence of that, everything we are talking about will not work. You know, there are different ways of when somebody will say, you know, the essence of democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But if at the end of the day, maybe you were elected, you were appointed by INEC, it will be government of the people, by INEC, for us. And when it becomes by INEC, the dangerous implication is that you are answerable to INEC and not to us. That's why you can see the embarrassment of where somebody will be pricing 2 billion naira to be declared winner.
So,
Because I'm speaking on the basis of what happened in Adamawa. 2 billion naira to be declared governorship by INEC.
and INEC really declared her winner.
No, somebody in INEC declared her winner because of the level of impunity that we are seeing in our electoral
INEC
system.
declared her winner until somebody says stop.
Stop.
INEC, stop.
You know, assuming that there was no stoppage somewhere, you know, she could have been the governor of Adamawa State against the person that eventually won.
And according to some people, the first thing she would do is to recoup the money from the public purse.
It is automatic. So how can you spend 2 billion to become a governor? That will be aside the money that you are spending, you spent during the election. So you know the electoral system must be made to be in such a way that not only that it will not be so expensive. Like now, I sat down when I saw Peter Obi giving account of how he ran his presidential election and the amount of money he spent. I was surprised with the frugality. Why was I surprised with the frugality? Because that money was cheap. For there was I think the agents and the polling units agent, and he paid about 320 or 340 million. That was about 10% of what he was expected to pay. Because we have about 176,000 polling units. 176,000 polling units. When you times it by 20,000 naira, which is expectedly what you are supposed to pay each of them per day, is 3.2 billion. So you can see if you only pay 3.2 billion for polling units agents, that is if they are 1-1. Some parties have 2-2.
Or even 3.
Or 3. Some even paid more. So at the end of the day, you can see, for you to be the president of Nigeria, we are talking about 100 billion. Because that polling unit agency is just an infinitesimal fraction of what you are going to pay. So when it is very expensive like this, tell me, whoever goes in there, how can that particular person perform? First of all, you must be very concerned about recouping whatever you have spent. But if we have tried as much as possible to put faith in the machines, in the technology that is going to be used in conducting this election, and try as much as possible not to manipulate them, like they did where they said that there were glitches. You try as much as possible not to manipulate them. At the end of the day, we are going to have people who we genuinely vote for. And when these results are coming in real time, you don't need anybody to be doing a ceremony of announcing whatever result they want. As you will be seeing it, we do it in NBA, Nigerian Bar Association.
As it they happen.
As it they happen. We do it in Nigerian Bar Association. Do you know that as we are voting in Nigerian Bar Association, as we are voting, you are seeing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You will be seeing 1,000, 2,000. Who is beating? It is there. They scream it. Everything is showing. There is nobody is announcing anybody.
No room for manipulation.
No room for manipulation. At the end of the day, when you are losing, like one of my candidates lost during the NBA election for one of the vice presidential slots. When it was happening, when we saw the gap with which the person that eventually won was beating him, we knew we've lost before 11 o'clock of that day. So there, everything will be very clear, black and white.
Barrister, can we borrow you people INEC?
No, the truth is that INEC has all these things we are talking about. Yeah, you know, there is a book in the Quran that says that God cannot change the people until the people changes what is in them. It has nothing to do with borrowing. It is a question of orientation. When Dora Akunyele was in NAFDAC, that particular point was a very cesspool of corruption. She came in. She told us that she still worked with about 95% of the people she met there. During her time there, you dare not corrupt any official. Everything is all about the head. You can see that in the case of Mahmoud, even people are projecting that they should provide a national cause day for things like that.
That reminds me.
Things should not be allowed to happen.
Me, P2B said something similar.
Yes.
When he came to Anambra. He didn't say he didn't sack anybody. He only changed their mindset.
Yes.
And the system started working.
Exactly. That is the way you do things, and it will work. If people have faith in what we are doing, at the end of the day, everybody will believe in it and queue in. But a situation whereby you are here singing "Arise, O compatriot, Nigeria calls obey." The other person is there singing "Sit down, O compatriot, Nigeria does not call obey." What will you do? Sorry. They will tell you, they will be laughing at you, which fatherland are you serving? You know, here now, they see sincere people as stupid. When you come out and you boast that you've served their fatherland, you didn't buy car, you didn't buy land, you didn't buy house, they will be looking at you as a foolish person. You must change that mindset.
Barrister Nrialike, we thank you very much for coming to the program today.
Thank you very much.
We hope that you will answer our call when next time we come.
Anytime, any day.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
With that, we come to the end of our interview with Barrister Nrialike. Once again, this is Diaspora Digital Media. We now move on to our next program.